Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we are in the middle of January.
We are. It's very, very cold outside.
I don't even know where time goes.
I don't know where it goes either because it was just Christmas yesterday, right? And then boom, we're in the middle of January.
You're probably counting down to Christmas again, aren't you?
I am actually. I love Christmas so much. But no, the next thing I'm counting down to is my daughter's wedding. My daughter and future son-in-law are getting married in May, the end of May, and so that's our next big event. So,
how's the wedding plans coming?
Very well. Yep, things are going great.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's going good, and
that's the beauty of having boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Weddings can be a lot.
Yeah, they are.
There's a lot to do.
Expensive, and I feel like I should start as soon as this wedding is over. I should start immediately saving for our next daughter, because by the time she gets married, things will be even more expensive. Things are so crazy expensive in 2023 or 2024. I mean,
you know what? What's going to happen with Chris is she's going to come home from college with a ring on her finger and a boy and say, "Hey, Mom, guess what I did? I flew to the Dominican and got married."
And I'll be like, "Thank you,
thank you." I think that's what Chris might do.
Yes, and the money that I have saved for your wedding, you can have and go start, your life with. And
it is
not
one of those things. If we could all go back, I would have taken the money. And back when I got married in '88, I mean, our weddings were nothing.
Oh no.
I mean, my wedding cost, like my niece Casey Earlywine just got married, and my entire wedding her flowers cost as much as my entire wedding. And we had food and a band.
Yeah, my wedding was not anything like, not that we're going crazy with Malia's wedding either, but it's just the cost of renting the venue and the cost of the dress and everything. It's just a lot of money, but
that it is, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I have been so.
But I'm the same way though. What I was going to say is, if I could do it over, Jason and I would just have eloped.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're just as married. You know what I mean? It doesn't really change anything.
And honestly, the only reason why I ever get out my photos is to make fun of them, because it's the '80s and it was great.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Of course, I did love our wedding episode.
That was fun.
Our wedding episode was fun.
But anyway, I interrupted you.
But anyway, so are you a spring cleaner or a winter cleaner?
Winter.
Me too. Oh my gosh.
I don't do spring cleaning, but I will get in there and clean stuff in November.
I do it after Christmas. The beginning of January, that's what we got home from Mexico. I got home on Friday, Saturday morning. I cleaned out both my closets. I've got tons of stuff, so I have to get down. I take my stuff down to Jackie's Hidden Treasures. My friend Jackie Richardson has a resale shop in Sisney.
Yes.
I take it down to Jackie's, and I've got to get that stuff down there. I don't know if she's open. It might be so cold. She may not be open.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm going to have to call her and see, because I am a big winter cleaner.
I like to do mine in November before I get all the holiday stuff out. I focus on getting everything clean and do windows and all the things. And I don't do that in the spring. I feel like the spring I have other things to do.
Yeah, now once spring hits, I'm outside. I do all my outside. I think that's why I do a lot of winter cleaning. I get rid of, oh my gosh, my closet. There's nothing like cleaning out your closet. What is that? I went on a purge, man.
Good for you.
A massive purge.
I need to do that.
And then what's going to happen? I'm just going to go to Cato and buy more. But that's different. That's what Jim said. Why are you doing that? It's like, well, because that's just what we do. Yeah, I need to clean out his. I need to make him clean out his stuff too. But we got to be extra nice to Jim today.
That's right. Jim did me a big favor today. My son, while I was here at the filming at Wabash Telephone, he had a bracket on his braces that broke. I called the orthodontist to try to take him this afternoon when I wouldn't be working, and they said, hey, the only time we can do it is at 10:30 this morning. My parents were out of town. And I didn't know who was around available to get Silas to the orthodontist at that particular time. And we called Jim, and he saved the day and took
Here
Silas
I come to save the day.
Yeah.
That literally is Jim's.
That's Jim.
You can't beat him. As much as we razz him.
Yeah.
We razz Jim, but he's good for it. But he's pretty good.
He's a good guy.
He's a pretty good guy. But so I have been cleaning out closets and going crazy. And I always like to rearrange furniture too.
Oh.
It's like something happens to you after that Christmas tree's down.
That's good that you can rearrange furniture. I will say that my living room is so small that I feel like I have everything right where it has to be, and there's not another way to do it. I've tried.
You really
I've lived there for over 20 years, and there's just not. It's just a smaller living room, and I have a couch and a love seat and a recliner.
You really only have like 2 walls.
Yeah, because the other walls have doorways. It's just a
and
weird setup, and it is what it is.
I do like to rearrange.
But I would love to have a house where I could just rearrange furniture.
I do it all the time. I like it.
Yeah.
It makes you, like, then you don't go out and buy new stuff.
Right. Because
it
feels new again.
It feels new again, yeah. You rearrange, and then you're always finding stuff, but boy, I like cleaning out. I got to get down to that resale shop. But this afternoon, what are you going to do on this cold day?
I am going to work.
I have
another job, so I actually...
What? Adulting?
Yeah, I know. I have to go home and adult and work my other job. So
yeah, but you love your other job.
I do love my other job. So for those that don't know, I am a writer for a website, nancysnotions.com. It's all about sewing and quilting. So you should like it and follow us on Facebook and check out our website.
I'm going to ask you a question. What's your favorite candy?
Well, I have several, but Raisinets is at the top.
You and Jim. Jim likes Raisinets.
Yes, I love Raisinets. But right now, because the Valentine's Day candy is out, I will say that my favorite is the Russell Stover's chocolates that have the strawberry cream inside, and I have not been able to find those anywhere this year. They're usually a heart-shaped. They have strawberry. They're Russell Stover with strawberry. And Dollar General in Florida did have some that were white chocolate with strawberry in there. Not the same. Not what I want.
Don't they usually carry those things like at flower shops and stuff?
Not usually.
Is that a thing? Because like usually flower shops used to have like a cold candy.
Yeah.
And those mint meltaways.
Yeah, you're talking about what was the brand name of those? Fannie Mae.
Fannie Mae.
You're talking about Fannie Mae. Man, those are good.
Those are good.
But no,
yeah.
What's your favorite candy?
Well, I have 4, and they're not like what I have when I'm traveling. When I'm driving in a car, I want Twizzlers.
Me too.
When I go to the movies, I'm eating Milk Duds.
Okay. That's where I have the Raisinets.
And then just on a random thing, I love banana Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, I do like the banana Laffy Taffy.
And Tootsie Rolls, but I want the big one. Every time I go to Cracker Barrel, I travel. Oh, yeah? I got a ginormous Tootsie Roll in my car right now that I just love. So those are my 4. But like I said, Twizzlers, banana Laffy Taffy. I like hard, chewy things.
Okay.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I found this super cool ad.
Oh, okay.
From the 20s.
All right.
Look at that Tootsie Roll ad.
Oh, cute.
Isn't it? Okay, so literally, the life of the party. Luscious, tempting, appealing. Look at all the guys checking her out.
Checking her out like, look at her. She's got a Tootsie Roll. 5 cents. I think when I was a kid, that 5 cents was still on the Tootsie Roll wrapper.
It might be.
I don't think it is anymore, though.
The most popular candy roll for generations. Tootsie Roll. 2 is the life of every party. For wherever young America gathers, its popularity is acclaimed by all. I love that because I'm seriously, how many times have we talked about how the writers of these ads, and the ad's just cool. I love the red background.
And she's all dressed up, like she's got her diamond choker on. She's got her evening gown, it looks like, and
I think I pulled this ad from the 40s. But, because I've just been going on and finding these. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I love the blue highlight, like they have their hair highlight. Yeah. Whoever did this was awesome. Yeah. But the luscious, tempting, appealing Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll.
And I can relate to that. That's kind of how I look at chocolate.
Yeah, I look at chocolate like that, too. I seriously have a problem with chocolate. Like, I love chocolate.
I love one of my customers. Unfortunately, she passed away, but every year for Christmas would get me a big old thing of Fannie Mae mint meltaways. I do like those mint meltaways.
I'm not a big mint fan.
I do like mint.
I liked Fannie Mae. I would just have like their regular assorted chocolates, and they were always good.
Yeah. I'm weirdo about the assorted chocolates. Because I don't like a lot of gooky stuff inside.
Oh, see, that's what I go after. I want the creams.
See, I'm the one, when I go in, I'm going to be like, nope.
Oh.
I want the hard caramel. I want the chocolate
see, I don't need the caramels.
What? So we need to get a box.
Yeah, I'll give you all the square ones because they're the caramel ones. And you give me the round ones because they're the creams.
Yeah, I don't like the creamy ones.
I do because there's always the strawberry cream and the coconut cream and the vanilla cream and the orange cream.
Do you like chocolate covered cherries?
Yes.
See, I don't like them either.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not a big cherry person.
So when those came out this Christmas, I had my own little stash in my office of chocolate covered cherries. So I didn't leave. No, I don't even know if anyone else in the house would eat them, but it was just convenient to have them by my desk. So I ate the entire box, and then a week or two went by. I didn't do all this in one day, but I was at the store again, and I'm like, that was nice to have some of those. I'll get some more. I ate the whole box. Those were in the trash can next to my desk, and Jason came in. He was like, oh my gosh, like, have you been hoarding the chocolate back here? I'm like, well, it's been spread out over a couple of weeks in my defense, but yes, you don't find those like all year long. You know, you got to buy them when they're there on the shelf.
Yeah, so because right now it'll be all the assorted. Well, you should be able to find those now with Valentine's Day coming.
Yeah, I think they do have them out right now.
Yeah.
I haven't bought any more.
Yeah, because like I like at Christmas time I like the Hard Rock candy. Like I like everything crunchy and chewy. But yeah, Valentine's candy. I don't know. I never really get the boxes.
Yeah, I don't. I just try to look. They're like individually wrapped Russell Stover chocolates with the strawberry cream.
Something that I will get is like the Reese's cups that are like shaped like Christmas trees or like those things I like.
Those are good.
And I'm thinking they're probably not as fattening because it's not as much chocolate on that tree.
Yeah.
And peanut butter.
Probably. Peanut butter is protein.
Yeah.
It's good for you, right?
It's good for you. Well, our show's going to be a little different today. We're going to just do a bunch of different random stories that we found, and we're going to take a commercial break. And there's some interesting
news articles. Just local news articles from the past that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about a gentleman, Frank Doris, who a lot of people recognize that name, a state trooper that was unfortunately murdered on Route 45. I didn't realize where that was at until I read the story. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about a variety of things, and we just picked some random news articles that we had, and we thought we would kind of just cover some of the things that have happened here in Clay County in the past.
I kind of like it when we do the random news stories.
I do too, because
you learn so much.
Right, and a lot of times we will, like, if we find something in the newspaper that's not very long and we research and don't really find anything else about it, we kind of push it off to the side because it's not enough for an episode.
Right.
But then occasionally it's nice to have all those short stories.
Right.
Just compile them all and be like, here's a bunch of just random things that happen, but they're still interesting, even though we don't really go any further into the research with the follow-up. I mean, it's just, you have what the newspaper printed, and then that's really all the information on some of these things that we can find. So I'll start.
I want you to start because I want to hear about what you've got.
This is an interesting story. This is about a lady who plunged headfirst into a well.
A lady plunged?
A lady, yeah. And she had a really good reason to do it because her child was in the well.
Okay, so are we talking like wells from
like a water well,
like back years?
This I don't have a date for it, but this was written by Rena Lentz Thomas, and she said it happened around 80 years ago from the time that she originally published this, which was in the mid like 2000. I think she might have published it the first time in 2014, and it ran again in 2018. But yeah, so this is an incident. It occurred in Pixley Township, so down by Sailor Springs. It was about 5 miles east of Sailor Springs, so some of you may even be living right in that exact area. And she did it without a second thought for her own safety. I mean, her motherly instinct was just on point.
Go.
Bam.
So it makes you wonder if, like, they were just out there, the little girl was playing. And
Well, it was a little boy.
A little boy?
He was 1.5 years old. So 18 months old.
Gosh.
You know, they're walking fast. They get away from you fast. They don't understand. They are just reckless and just whoop. Okay, so he was with his sister who was 3 years old, and her name was Betty Rowe. And they were playing in an old building near their house in which there was a well filled. This is kind of the blessing within the well. The well was so full that it was only 5 feet from the top.
like full of
Water.
full of water.
It was full of water, but the top of the water was only 5 feet from the ground.
Okay.
You know? So one of the children, probably the girl, since she was 3 years old, unless there was bigger kids around, but they're not mentioned, had somehow raised the cover. So this well was kept covered. It was not open. They did use it for water. I mean, there was a purpose to having this, you know. But they raised the cover, and the little boy, who was 18 months old, slid into the well.
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe he didn't drown.
Well, his little sister alerted the mother, and she just ran to the scene and just went head first straight into the well to grab him.
So she's in the well with him.
Yes. And
So now so that's why
But she went in head first, and the well is not like super, like where you can just flip around.
Yeah.
She had to maneuver herself around and was able to turn and save herself. And she caught, when she dived down, he was sinking.
Oh,
The boy
my
was
gosh.
sinking. He wasn't at the top. He was sinking. She dove in. She grabbed him with her teeth, grabbed his clothing with her teeth,
Wow.
and pulled herself by flipping them both around, turned themselves around. I'm hoping I'm making sense with this.
Wow.
And brought them both up to the surface with the baby in her teeth. Okay? This, by holding the baby with her teeth, that kept
She was
her
able
hands
to-
and feet,
yeah.
and she was able to keep them afloat. Okay? She did apparently know how to swim. So she held him with her teeth in this manner until the neighbors were called. And the neighbor was able to reach down and lift the child out and then rescued the mother. So her husband wasn't at home at the time. His name was Mr. Dewhurst. And
Dewhurst was the last name.
Dewhurst, maybe. This is Dewhurst's story. No, they...
The worst story.
This is how it's spelled. Dewhirst. Okay? So Mrs. Dewhurst was the former Pearl Dillman. So her name was Pearl Dewhurst.
Dillman. We hear a lot about the Dillmans. Yeah.
She was the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. W.D. Dillman of Sailor Springs. And Willard Dewhurst was her husband, and he was the son of James Dewhurst, or whatever, a prominent and well-known farmer from Pixley Township. Okay, so their families were all there. But apparently, she sent the 3-year-old to go get the neighbor.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean...
And 3's not,
No. I mean, you got... Back then, I do think kids were smarter at age 3 because they had to be.
I think so, too.
Like, you have some common sense. They're not babied as much. But...
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, the 3-year-old went and got the neighbor, and the mother tread water with the child in her teeth, until the neighbor came. And he was, because the water level was only 5 feet from the earth surface, he was able to reach down,
Well, I wonder,
get the kid, pull the kid out, you know, and then she was probably like...
I wonder how deep the well was.
Oh my gosh, the well could have been, I mean, it's different wells are all different around here. A lot of wells around here aren't as deep as they are in other parts of the world, but it could have been anywhere from like 50 to 100 feet deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that she dove in head first without a thought and grabbed that child in her teeth.
Yeah, I would think.
Kudos, Pearl Dillman.
Good job, Pearl Dillman. I wonder whatever happened to that family.
Child.
Yeah, whatever happened.
I would say, I don't know, but I didn't really follow this.
When did Rena write this?
In 2018 is the one I copied, but I think I saw one where she wrote it earlier. But it doesn't matter anyway.
It doesn't matter. It's 80 years ago.
Yeah, so in the early 1900s is when this happened, and I mean, just pretty cool that she was able to save him.
Wow.
But I would have done the same thing.
Oh, I'd have done it.
Absolutely.
It would have, I'd have done the same thing too.
And then I would have had my husband cover that well up with a big old heavy piece of brick or something that those kids couldn't have ever moved.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is the craziest.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom it.
But right here in Clay County, I mean, I think about the well. When I hear about kids in a well, I think of two things. Baby Jessica, remember that story?
Yes.
1986, 87 probably.
Yep. Oh,
that made
awful.
national news. That little girl fell in the well, and that boy, the man that saved her, his collarbone didn't work quite right, so he was able to maneuver himself in and finally saved her after how many days was she down there?
That little girl was in there days.
That sticks in my mind when you hear about kids in a well. And then also, but that well was dry, I believe. I don't think she was in water. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I think about is when baby Carrie fell in the well on Little House on the Prairie. I can always bring that up. But, I mean, that didn't actually happen.
You always bring up Little House on the Prairie.
It pertains to
the past. It did pertain to the past.
Yeah, so that's
very interesting story.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
but we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Gosh, okay.
And we're going to come back with some more interesting stories. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It's the weekend and your symptoms are worsening. The morning of a big meeting and you have a bigger sore throat. Ever experienced that urgency after picking up your sick child and your community health center has already closed? You will be able to connect to a provider at crhpc.org. Even if you have never been to CRHPC, you are welcome to utilize our services. Feel better after scheduling a video visit with CRHPC.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County, Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So we are having a good time on our set today, and we're talking about just a random news
articles
from the past. So we just got done talking about the mom that jumped in to save her child from the well
in Sailor Springs,
and now I have a story about a bank robbery in
Louisville.
Know what?
Yeah, a Louisville bank robbery.
Louisville bank robbery with machine guns.
What? Get out of town.
Yeah.
And this is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. This happened in 1934.
Gangsters.
This is the Farmers and Merchants Bank in Louisville, and it was the scene of the crime. There was a holdup on May 17th, 1934, and it was four men that robbed the bank, and they all got away with a total of around $3,000.
You know, $3,000 back in 34. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I'm going to risk going to jail, it's going to be for a lot more money than $3,000. Well,
back then that was probably a lot.
It probably was a lot of money back then.
Let's show a picture of the bank, Ty. Do we have a picture of that? this is the Farmers and Merchants Bank. Like it says there, it's in 1920. Let's see, James McCollum, president, Fred McCollum, vice president, Elbert Eichmeyer, cashier, Molly Clifton, and William Ern McNelly.
1920. Where was that building at?
So this building was on the corner, kind of where the Clay County State Bank sign and parking lot is. I believe that is where it stood. It was either that or the opposite corner. But
that building's gone now?
The building's gone. This was another, I believe there were two banks in Louisville for a while, the Clay County State Bank and the Farmers and Merchants Bank. And I think eventually they merged. Also, don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I looked through that information. But anyway, this was a pretty building.
Beautiful building.
Yeah, so that was in 1920, but the robbery happened in 1934. So I'm just showing you that picture to kind of give you an idea of where this is. Okay, so the bank robbers all came into town driving a 1934 green Dodge car. Okay, I guess they probably didn't have a lot of choice on their getaway car, but they did pick one that I think sort of stood out.
Yeah, a green Dodge. Mm-hmm. They should have got a black sedan.
Yeah. When they reached the bank, one guy stayed in the car. Mm-hmm. And with the motor running, while the other three went in the bank. And then one went into the main entrance, and then two went into the south door. And they went in dressed as farmers. No masks.
Get out of town.
They just went in dressed as farmers, okay?
Well, they were
wearing overalls, blue shirts, and work caps. But they had stashed better clothing in an old house west of town. Okay, so they had plans. They are just going to come in looking like a farmer, and they're going to rob the joint, and then they're going to run over to this house, change clothes real quick, look like businessmen, and drive away.
Right. Well, hey, they were thinking, weren't they? They were definitely thinking.
This is the part that got me. They were fully armed, with one carrying a machine gun, and the one carrying the machine gun was commanding the workers at the bank to hold up their hands and face the wall. So this is a total gangster movie.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a hold up. Face the wall. Turn around. Put your hands up.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so employees at the bank were James Cogswell, I.E. Eichmeyer, Anna McNelly, Myrtle Wilson, and Merle Steely. Okay, wow. So while the one guy with the so right now we have one guy holding the machine gun, one guy waiting in the car. That leaves the other two. They were armed with just handguns, and they entered the cage, which I guess is similar to like the vault,
right?
And took the money at the the cage. Maybe that's the part that goes around the cashier.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So anyway, they went into the cage and they took the money at the cashier's window, and then they went into the vault and took whatever they could find. So Mr. Cogswell, he was the cashier. They told him, open the safe. But he informed them that actually it's on a timer. And it's a time lock, and it cannot be opened until 12 o'clock. I don't know if that's a real thing or if that was just a really fast thinking, like, hey, I can't. I physically cannot open it. It's on a timer. I don't know. But then the men, the bad guys, told all of the bank employees to lie face down on the floor and to remain there for 5 minutes. So he didn't shoot anybody, but he did. I mean, typical like hold up type scene from a movie or a TV show. It happened in Louisville. Came in with machine guns.
Wow.
Everybody against the wall, everybody on the floor. Okay, but one customer entered the bank during the robbery.
Oh, my gosh.
He was Robert Bunnell. They thrust a shotgun into his side, and he was told to lay down on the floor too, but he didn't get injured. Everyone lived, okay? Spoiler alert, nobody died.
Nobody died. Nobody got shot.
But what the bad guys didn't know is that 6 months before this happened, the sheriff at the time, his name was Sheriff Speaks, Speaks. He had been warned by somebody that there was going to be a possible holdup situation in Clay County at that bank.
Now that's kind of okay. Now that's an interesting thought. Were they local?
The tip was that it would be a Clay County boy and friends that were going to do it. So apparently, whoever the Clay County boy was, which I'll probably figure that out here in a minute, we're going to get into their names. But apparently he had let it slip probably to somebody that he was kind of planning this.
Yeah.
And he was probably already known as like, he's a bad guy, don't trust him. But anyway,
why would you rob a bank in your own town?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
This guy's on the dumb criminal list and in a green car.
So when the sheriff got this tip like 6 months prior, he told the officers at the bank. And so they had already taken a lot of precautions in case this happened. Everyone had been trained. Okay, so as a possible result of the advanced tip, some bystanders and law enforcement people were perhaps more observant. People were paying attention to who's coming and going from the bank. So people in the area noticed that when the four fled, they headed west on Vandalia Road in a green Dodge. Okay, so a short time later, the same sedan was seen coming back from the west and proceeding north with only the driver in the car. So they had drove to the house where they had stashed the clothes. 3 guys got out, changed clothes, and probably the driver changed clothes too, but then he took his green car and he headed north. Meanwhile, the other 3 were not there. So the sheriff quickly forms a posse. Doesn't that sound exciting?
That does sound exciting. A posse.
Forms a posse, and they were in hot pursuit west of town. They captured the first one. He was pretty easy to catch. His name was Louis Bangris of Chicago, and he was just hiding in some bushes. Okay. As he was being handcuffed, they saw the other 2, both also Chicago men, fleeing down a ravine. So Sheriff Speaks and Ed Cogswell took we've talked about Cogswell before.
Well,
he was the sheriff a different time.
Yeah.
Took the prisoner back while the other 2 deputies, Hugh Cox and Jack Mitchell, pursued the 2 fleeing on foot. So they were on the chase. They have 2 cops chasing the 2 that took off down the ravine, and then the 2 cops that are already bringing in the first guy. Other town people helped in the search, and the 2 were soon found hiding in trees and quickly were surrounded. A few shots were fired at them before they came out of the trees. So they're hiding in the trees, and people actually fired them.
They're firing.
Their names were Bill Mullins and Tony Morozzo. And they surrendered. Mullins had been wounded slightly, but not too seriously. Okay, so now the only one that's loose is that 4th guy that headed north in the green Dodge. The 4th member of the robbery made his getaway and was not apprehended until the later part of June, about a month and a half after the holdup. So he got away that day, and he probably thought he was good to go.
Right.
But he was arrested in Urbana, and he was also implicated in other robberies and holdups in the Champaign area. And he had been recognized by several Clay County people as Glenn Montgomery. They all knew who he was.
Well, yeah.
He was the local guy.
Why would...
He was turned over to Sheriff Speaks and brought back to Clay County in July of that year after the Champaign-Urbana authorities had finished their investigation of him. Okay, Ty, I think we have a picture of these 4 yahoos, or at least 3 of them.
Oh, my goodness.
These are the first 3 that were caught. This is Louis Bangris, Bill Mullins, and Tony Morozzo. And,
oh, my God.
Yeah, they're still dressed like farmers.
They are.
They got their own, they hadn't changed yet, maybe. But they had stashed clothes.
They didn't even have time to change.
No. They look like losers, don't they?
They do.
Womp womp.
Womp.
Yeah. Uncombed
bad
hair.
Guys.
Yeah, bad guys. They thought they were smart, but they were not.
Oh, I wonder if any of them are still alive today.
I don't know. They're probably watching my show and being like, now wait a second, woman. You don't know the whole story. We were forced to do that. Okay. A special grand jury had met on May 26th, 9 days after the robbery, and found indictments on all 4. Easy peasy. The charges were robbery with a gun. They pled guilty in Effingham and were sentenced to an indeterminate period of not less than 1 year and may extend to the end of their sentence on and during the 17th of May of every year of their confinement. I didn't quite follow that exactly.
Yeah, I don't understand.
So each year on the 17th of May, I guess there was to be determined. I don't know. And they were to be placed in solitary confinement. So I guess they didn't want to talk to anybody else or talking to each other. So anyway, they all went to prison in Chester. And all of the money was recovered. And, so next time you're in Louisville, you can think about big old bank robbery happened there in the 30s. Gangsters. Machine guns. And
Farmer gangsters.
Oh,
my gosh. Well, I'm going to talk about somebody that we know, Frank Doris, and I believe we may have covered him.
I think we did early
in
our career. Early in our career as TV hosts.
Yes, that's right.
A very early episode, but I do think we kind of messed up on one part of it.
I think we might have messed something up there, so we're going to kind of go over it
Mm-hmm.
again a little bit. I got a little bit more, I got more in-depth stories on it, if I can find it here. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about Frank Doris. I know Frank Doris's son, his oldest son, Rod. But anyway, Frank Doris was born April 28th, 1925 in Chicago, Illinois. He was the son of Frank and Opal Rowe Doris. He was married to Janelle Pierce in 1947. I didn't realize he had such a strong military.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't remember that part.
Yeah, so we dug in a little bit deeper to Frank Doris. He entered as a draftee in August 1943. He trained as a heavy truck driver and departed the U.S. on August 11, 1944. So he was a World War II soldier. He was bound for the European Theater of Operations. He served with the 3466th Ordnance Motor Maintenance Company. Now, here's what I found interesting. He earned several medals while he was in the military. And his military career was pretty short because he was only in the military for 2 years. The medals he earned, he got the Good Conduct Medal, the American Campaign Medal, the European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal.
Good for him.
So he must have been a really, really great guy, good fighter, good all-around good soldier. He was honorably discharged from his Ordnance Corps as a technician, 4th grade, on April 1946.
Okay.
So Mr. Doris comes back to he was born in Chicago, but he's back here in Clay County, and he is one of our state troopers.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a picture. I sent you a picture of Frank Doris, didn't I, babe? There he is. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put that up there while we're reading this. So this is Frank Doris. I want to read where I found this. At about 8:20 a.m. on the sunny morning of May 27, 1967, Illinois State Trooper Frank Doris wrote out his last traffic ticket. Trooper Doris had been assigned to work at the state police headquarters in Watson. He had worked the 12 midnight to 8 a.m. shift and was en route on U.S. Route 45 to his home. So he was even coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Trooper Doris stopped a car for speeding and was sitting in his squad car filling out the arrest ticket when the unknown driver standing behind the squad car shot Doris in the head. A witness, Eugene Hale of Xenia, was working under a car at a house a short distance from the scene, heard a loud noise and car engine running wide open. Hale went over to the squad car at this time. Robert Goodman of Louisville and Jim Burr of Edgewood stopped at the scene. Trooper Doris's car was starting to catch fire. So the three men, seeing that Doris had been wounded, removed him from the car to the yard of a nearby residence. Trooper Harold Brooks, who had just come on duty, was at the Flora Police Department when they received a call that a state trooper had been shot 4 miles north of Flora on Route 45. The police dispatcher, Paul Rose, dispatched an ambulance, and Trooper Brooks drove immediately to the scene, saw the squad car on fire, and radioed for a fire truck. Trooper Doris was taken by ambulance to Clay County Hospital, where he was pronounced dead upon arrival. Trooper Brooks questioned bystanders to see if anyone had seen or heard anything. Eugene Hale stepped forward and stated that he had seen a subject about 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing around 180 pounds, wearing a white T-shirt and dark trousers, run from the squad car to a maroon car with an aluminum canoe on top.
Oh,
right, and drive southbound on Route 45. Trooper Brooks relayed descriptions to State Police Headquarters. They then dispatched the description to all units and towns and advised them to set up roadblocks on roads in the area. A little before 9 a.m., Fairfield Police Chief Edward Jackson, Game Warden W. Wilson, and Wayne County Deputy Lauren Mock had set up a roadblock west of Fairfield on US 45. A maroon Mustang with an aluminum canoe on top ran through the roadblock and continued eastbound on Illinois 15.
Okay, headed toward Mount Vernon.
Yes. Just east of there, State Police Detective Robert Lee met the maroon Mustang, turned around, and joined the others in pursuit of it. The Mustang traveled through Fairfield and east on Illinois 15. A few miles east of he's going east, so he's heading toward Albion.
Okay.
A few miles east of Fairfield, troopers Dale Kay and Kay Marlowe set up another roadblock, which the car went through without stopping. And this guy's driving a maroon mug with a canoe on top.
Yeah, like, that's pretty obvious.
Wow. Trooper Donald Eubanks set up a third roadblock at the west edge of Albion. Again, the Mustang evaded them. By this time, get out of there. By this time, troopers Harold Jones, Robert Caldwell, and Captain Donald Johnson had joined the chase. The Mustang drove through Albion, headed north on Illinois 130. Captain Johnson managed to overtake and pass the Mustang, which had driven up to speeds of 100 miles per hour in the 50-mile chase.
Oh, my.
50 miles on the side road. I mean.
Yeah.
Captain Johnson stayed directly ahead of the car and would not let it pass. He kept slowing down with the other squads behind the Mustang until the driver finally lost control, ran off the roadway, and overturned just north of Samsville between Albion and Olney.
Okay, I know where that is.
The troopers at the scene captured the driver as he crawled out of the Mustang. He gave his name as William Carter. They found a .39 caliber revolver and an arrest ticket book that belonged to Trooper Doris. A speeding ticket by Trooper Doris made out to William Carter was in the ticket book. It was later established that the suspect's real name was Ura Gaines, age 60, of Chicago, formerly of Elizabethtown, Illinois, who had been living and working as an electrician in the Chicago area for about 3 years. He had been given a 1-year life sentence for burglary 25 years before in 1932.
Oh, my.
Ura Gaines suffered a hip fracture in the auto mishap when he was captured. Surgery was performed at Richland Memorial Hospital in Olney. Gaines was then removed to Clay County Hospital, where Sheriff Boone Heiser maintained an around-the-clock guard on him. On July 23rd, Gaines attempted to escape. When Russell Mitchell,
this guy's nuts.
This guy is crazy. When Russell Mitchell, the night guard, stepped out of the room for a minute, Gaines slipped out of his restraints, picked up a metal stool, and struck Mitchell on the head.
Oh, my gosh.
When he came back into the room.
Gosh.
Mitchell, however, was able to subdue Gaines, who was transferred to Clay County Jail. Ura Gaines was indicted for the murder of Trooper Frank Doris by Clay County Grand Jury on June 14, 1967. Trial date for the murder was set for November 13th. 1967, before Judge Raymond O'Hearn of Salem on a change of venue due to the request of Gaines' attorney, who felt that Gaines would not receive a fair trial in Clay County. Court convened at 10 a.m. on November 13, 1967, at which time a jury was selected and the trial got underway on November 15th at 3 p.m. The state was very ably and successfully represented by State's Attorney H. Carroll Baylor of Louisville. On November 18, 1960,
John Baylor's dad.
John Baylor's dad. On November 18, 1967, the jury returned a guilty verdict and recommended the death sentence. Ura Gaines was sentenced to death on Friday, January 5th, 1968.
Did they follow through with that?
Judge Horn set March, I think he died. Judge Horn set March 15th as the date. Boy, they weren't messing around.
No.
As the date.
These days, if they, not that they do that anymore, but
they should do that, but they don't.
Would sentence somebody and then it doesn't even take effect for like years. But anyway.
Which he was supposed to be going to the electric chair on March 15th. Ura Gaines died in prison in Menard on April 7, 1968, of natural causes before his sentence would be carried out. Doris Trooper, he was only 42, and he was from Clay City. 18, Mark 12, and Donnie age 8.
How sad.
See, I didn't realize. I mean, I had heard, always know, because like I said, I knew the Doris family and knowing about, Trooper Doris. But yeah, I found that really interesting. We need to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Pegel's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Pegel Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
The insurance specialists have options to tailor to your needs at CSI Insurance Brokers. Experienced insurance brokers at CSI are skilled with all types of insurance plans and policies and represent many companies, including Safeco Insurance. You'll benefit from their detailed expertise, unbeatable premiums, and commitment to customer service. CSI Insurance Brokers and Safeco Insurance Company, providing affordable rates on quality insurance since 1952.
For over 50 years, at your locally owned and operated Roll King Supply in Salem and Olney, we've helped you and your neighbors enjoy an easy country lifestyle. We carry the most thorough sporting goods department around with a huge variety of hunting and fishing gear, camping equipment, and a variety of firearms for any need. Our team is here to help you find whatever you need. Open every day, it's Roll King in Salem and Olney, your locally owned farm and home store.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're just talking about a little bit of everything.
We have got stuff, and now we just finished up with the story on Trooper Frank Doris, which is a sad, sad story. Mm-hmm. But we're going to end it on a different note. Another Clay City family, the Mosley family.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that glorious oak tree.
Yes. So I don't know, many of you may not know about the oak tree, but there is an enormous oak tree. And it's just south of Clay City, and the property it's on was previously owned by Galen Mosley, I believe, and now I believe the property is owned by his daughter. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know them, but I would love to have them reach out and say, hey, let me come. It is on private property, so you can't just go look at this tree. Right. But basically, it is a very large white oak tree. So we the largest oak tree in the state of Illinois, I believe.
It is.
It's not just in Clay County. It's not just in southern Illinois. It is in the entire state of Illinois. This is the largest white oak tree, which is interesting because that is our state tree. Mm-hmm. So did you know that?
I didn't know that.
In 1907, Rochelle, Illinois school teachers challenged their students to think of a tree to name a state tree, and it was nominated that the white oak would be, or that the native oak tree would be the state's official tree. But in 1973, go fast forward about 70 years, it was amended to designate specifically white oak as the state tree.
Cool.
So Clay County has the biggest one in the entire state, and most people don't even know about it. So according to records, this type of tree has been known to reach heights of approximately 150 feet. Mm-hmm. And the one on the Mosley property, I'm told, stands over 100 feet.
Over 100.
And it says an interesting fact is that this type of tree with its branches is often as wide as it is tall if it has grown in an open area. Mm-hmm. So it's probably at least 100 feet wide. But this one, some people think it's even wider than it is tall, possibly. So I have a couple pictures of the tree.
It seems like it's wider.
Let's see, Ty, do we have? Yeah, okay. This is Don Thomas, our friend Don Thomas. He's actually modeling there. Thank you, Don.
Look at him.
Great model. Just to show the width of the trunk. Don is a tall man, and you know, his arms are all the way across the front of it and not even going around the sides of it.
They say that it takes 4 men with arms connected open wide to even to wrap around the tree.
Oh my.
Yeah, they say that's what it is. Think of 4 men with an arm span and wrapping around that tree.
Isn't that something?
That is something.
It says that white oaks can live for more than 600 years.
Woo-wee.
And some are even rumored to be 800 years old. And that's hard to imagine, but they do think that this Clay City oak has been declared at least 500 years old.
Yeah.
There was men from Springfield that came out and inspected it and looked at it and examined it, and that's what they determined. So I have another picture of the tree.
There it is.
There it is.
That's it. That's it in the winter time with not all of its grandeur. But see, that's why. Do you think maybe that's why that it's been able to grow that? Because there's nothing around it.
It's in a clearing. Yeah.
I remember when it was hit by lightning.
Oh my!
It was hit by lightning. There's actually a zigzag pattern on it.
I'm surprised it lived. A lot of trees that don't
no,
live.
it did.
That is one strong tree. But I'm kind of glad that the leaves are not.
So you can really get the
so you can really get the effect of these branches, because that's just beautiful. I mean, white oaks are definitely one of my very favorite trees. It says the leaves of the white oak grow from 5 to 8.5 inches long and 2 3/4 to 4.5 inches wide. Acorns grow from 1/2 to 1 inch in size, and usually they fall in October. Wouldn't it be cool to collect an acorn from there and actually plant a descendant of that tree?
And it's not. You can drive by and see. It's not. It doesn't sit very far back off the road.
I don't know. I've never been back there. I don't know.
Yeah, you go south of. It's south of Clay City. You go south down. You just turn south there at the caution light. Go down that way. Yeah, I can't remember if you can see. I've been down there once. And I've seen it one time. And
we should take a drive and go look.
Let's take a drive and go look at it.
Now they're going to have a lot of people driving by.
That's right. They're going to love us.
But it does say that this massive white oak in Clay City was said to have been around when the Indians were here, when the Indians roamed the area. And it may have possibly been the center of their meeting place, since they have found a lot of Indian artifacts around the tree.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, if you think about the Indians that settled, because that's the Clay City area, you know.
Yeah.
And they would worship that tree because it makes you think if that tree, how big it was, if it's 500 years old. I mean, just shoot. It would have been a sapling whenever America was.
It would have been. It would have already been a
few
hundred years old.
It would have been a couple hundred years old, right?
It would have already been a full-grown tree.
Yeah.
When this nation was settled, right?
Yeah. So the Indians would have probably watched it grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably did, because I've always heard that there's a lot of Indian artifacts around it.
Yeah.
How neat is that?
Anyway, that's cool that Clay County's, we got a little claim to fame right there.
We do have
the biggest tree in the state. We have it.
There is a large tree in Carmi, apparently, but they say it's only about 300. It's only 300 years old.
It's only 300 years old.
And it's a white oak in Carmi, and but it's only, I think maybe 200 or 300 years old.
Okay.
And it's not as big as ours.
Well, like
ours is bigger.
Flora tourism, not that this is Florida, this is Clay City, but Clay County is always looking for something to bring people in. And I know this is privately owned.
Would do it.
This is privately owned, and they may not want that, but this may be, a way to bring commerce to Clay City. To advertise that fact. Then they have to stop and get gas at Clay City. They have to eat at Clay City. They have to do those things.
I've always said, when you live in a small town, you have to use the resources God gave you to keep it going. Because I always thought that was interesting that Mosley's tree was never on that, because when you go into Clay City, Ray's Fruit Farm was always kind of like a, they capitalized on that.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was kind of an interesting thing that they never did the Mosley tree. Yeah. Because it's spectacular. I highly recommend.
Yeah. Okay, so it's already the end of the show. We always end the show with a quote or a rule to live by. Stacey's got her quote book out. She's going to pull out a good one for us to end the show on. What do you got?
This is from Confucius.
Oh, okay.
I'm always Confucius.
Okay.
When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps.
Good. So if you think you're not going to meet your goal, don't cancel the goal.
Don't cancel the goal.
Just keep going. So many of these quotes are always just...
They are good.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, everybody needs a quote book.
Yeah.
Every day, look up your quote book.
Yeah, that's good advice, too.
Yeah, that is good advice.
See? It should be in the quote book.
Good advice.
Everybody should have a quote book.
Everybody should have a quote book.
Let's write our own quote book, and that should be the title of it.
Okay.
Your quote. Everybody should own
Let's
a quote
do
book.
it. I like it. Why not?
All
Beth,
right.
tell everybody where they can see us.
So we are on Channel 100, Wabash TV, daily at 11 a.m. Our new episodes always air on Thursdays and Fridays. You can also find us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is By the Way with Beth and Stacey. It's very easy to find us. Just go to youtube.com, type in By the Way with Beth and Stacey, and you will find our shows. And we are also on Facebook, so like and follow us on there. You can just type By the Way with Beth and Stacey right into the search bar, and we should come up. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. It was a fun show, and we will see you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.